what is up, everybody? It is Jack Lloyd here, and I am super excited to be hanging out with you and doing a little checkout on the Yaira 1 campaign. So we're going to take a look at the Yaira 1 campaign with Rippaverse, seeing what's going on with that, seeing how things are going, maybe making some predictions and whatnot. So if you haven't already, make sure to check out the stream on YouTube, youtube.com/Jack Lloyd. That's the best place for me to see your comments. And if I see comments, I will often take a look at them and see what's going on with them. So be sure to chime on in and let me know that you're here. Make sure to hit the notification button too once you get onto YouTube, youtube.com/Jack Lloyd. And as people are coming in here, I do want to show off something too. I actually just got in today the Florida Man comic, which has Mike Barron on it, and he's going to be working on another Rippaverse title. So I thought that was a lot of fun, especially since the whole Florida Man scheme definitely fits my vibe, considering I am a Florida man, and we've made songs including a Florida Man and Florida Boy, which were real fun. So I'm excited about checking out this title and reviewing it later and seeing how it goes, because it's got a lot of fun details to it. I mean, you can see on the cover there, he's riding the gator like he's a cowboy, jumping over some ladies in what's like a convertible, maybe a Corvette or something like that. So a lot of fun. There's a lot of fun things happening right now, as you probably have seen and can know, because there's literally so many different great projects going on, which I do also have to plug one thing really quick too, because of course my wife would be not happy with me if I didn't make sure to cover this. So just before we get to the Rippaverse thing, I'm going to show you here what we got cooking. We have our next music video campaign actually up. So as you know, we love doing music and music videos, and we have our next campaign here, the End the Fed campaign, going on right now on Indiegogo. So you can just go on Indiegogo, type in End the Fed, and you'll see that there we have a trailer for it. We're looking to shoot this music video in DC. So we've been scaling up with all our different production projects and have done some really cool music videos, past. So you can take a look there. There's a cool little art, but you'll see there the song itself and some of our past music videos. You want to get a sense of what we've done. And they got some really cool perks in this too. We have, some stickers, a set photo, a coaster, and the Fed coaster. We have art prints. We even have roll credit. You can get credit in the music video itself. So definitely make sure to check that on out later on, once you have time after the stream. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the Rippaverse Yaira #1 campaign. So as you may have already heard, because this campaign was record-breaking, the amount of funding they got in the short amount of time they had is pretty incredible. So they've already hit their $1 million mark and are moving up now toward the $2 million mark as they continue to get more backers. So this title obviously comes after they're successfully doing isom 1, isom 2, and Alpha Core, which of course we support and we're excited to check out and read. And we thought that with each story, everything has continued to get better and better. So I think that it's pretty incredible what they have going on. So as you can see here at the top of the campaign, they've already done 6,000 cover A's, 3,000 cover B's, 2,000 cover C's, 3,000 cover D's. So you can see their cover D is pretty popular. So it looks like people have their fan favorites. So if you see here on the short story, we're gonna walk through this like as if you haven't seen it before. So if for these four, it's all good. We'll just we'll talk about it as we go. So the Yaira #1 is set in the Rippaverse, written by the superstar twins of horror, Jen and Sylvia Soska, who we actually got to meet in Orlando when we went to the MegaCon event. So they were super cool, lots of fun to see, very personal. They did a great job representing the Rippaverse brand. So that was awesome. And, I'm really excited to see how they take the story. So it says that they powerfully penciled by Deborah Carita, with letters by the one and only Eric Weathers. Yaira #1 is a 90-page graphic novel that promises to wow you with stunning cinematic action and answer burning questions about the Rippaverse's own resident femme fatale. So Yaira has had quite a bit of hype behind it, obviously, because the character is super cool. Her design is pretty amazing in terms of the color scheme and the brightness to her suit. It's very engaging, and it makes you wonder what she is and where she comes from. And as we saw up here too, there was a live action trailer that they did for this, which was fascinating because I mean, the budget, to do that is still pretty hefty. I know Eric had said that the cost of doing live action is even a little cheaper than doing, animation. But it didn't look like it was cheap to do either. When they did this video, they had, big sets and a crane, and they, stage everything. They had outdoor action with, the cars being smashed. So it was pretty, big orchestration for what is just a comic book trailer. It was pretty in depth, with what they did. So really interesting to see where they could go with that, and the next level. Like, would they do more animated, live action? Who knows? We'll have to find out and see it. What comes up for the next comic release. So, the log line: whom or what is Yaira? To the citizens of Flores Park, the Alpha Core who protect them from Accept-related threats, Yaira is nothing less than a powerful force of nature, unlike anything else they've ever encountered. In the recent aftermath of a brutal battle that ended in stalemate, Alpha Core Commander Brian Solari told Yaira to vacate Flores Park and warned her never to return. But Yaira plays by no rules but her own. And now she's back. What is this frosty force want in sunny Flores Park, and what motivated her return? Yaira's origins go back farther than anyone could possibly imagine or believe, and sometimes the cost of a primeval past is the haunting of one's present. When you wield such immeasurable power, your choices can have drastic and long-lasting consequences. What happens when Yaira's past catches up with her, and those in her orbit are unwittingly forced to pay the price for her actions? Read Yaira #1 by Jen and Sylvia Soska to find the answers to these and other questions about the mysterious Yaira. Pre-order your copy of Yaira #1 today to learn about this breakout Femme Fatale powerhouse, Yaira. And there's a parental advisory, so that's kind of interesting. I haven't seen a parental advisory, at least like this, before. So they actually have a little warning here. Yaira #1 contains depictions of violence and troubling situations, suitable for mature audiences age 16 and above. Ooh, so that's interesting. Rippaverse here finally has something where they're suggesting an audience age. That's interesting. 16 plus. So I'm wondering if that means that the violence is going to be a bit more graphic this time. Because before, the violence is a little bit more just, something like Justice League kind of level. It wasn't necessarily crazy violent, but maybe this is going to take it to the next level. Maybe a bit more bloody. We'll see. So looking here at this panel work here, and just looking at the coloring and the line art, it's very solid. It certainly has a lot of detail to it and some cool angles. So I think this is previewing it quite well. You can see that there's some kind of energy beam. There's police, and then it looks like they're running away. But then you see clearly Yaira in a type of a hoodie coming through. And then she's flying up to where the ice stuff is. And then it looks like, she's reaching and grabbing somebody. So, is that a fight? Is she going after someone that is bad? Is she helping somebody? We're going to have to find out for ourselves when we get this in. And I did get all 4 covers. So I'm excited to check it out in every single cover. And if we look here at this next panel, you can see that here she's in some type of big, some type of museum of sorts. It would look like it's not. I don't know if it's necessarily, like a Batcave thing, compared to Batman. But because you have this kind of Roman chariot, and you have some old outfits that look like maybe different warriors throughout history. You have an ornate kind of floor design. So it looks like Yaira is in her plainclothes self, going, through this arena, and she has, this older woman who's talking to her. And it's really interesting because she's wearing some type of cloak strap that's got this triangle shape and some symbols on it. I wonder if that's connecting to anything of her past, or if, there's some important symbolism there. You can see her there at the bottom a little bit more up close with the upside down, triangle. And then it's got this little triangle symbol inside, almost like an all-seeing eye, little maybe something Egyptianish. But whoever it is, Yaira here goes from having no blue hair to suddenly getting blued and her hair getting blue. So her energy's powering up. So whoever this is maybe knows who Yaira's true identity is, maybe. We have another panel here. It shows Yaira. Okay, so now we see this fighting panel. So that I think that's indicating that she might be fighting a bad guy. Because, right, if she's smacking down this other person who's got this ice and this kind of blue hair with a bunch of these earrings and hoops, through her eyebrows too, I'm going to go with maybe she's an enemy of sorts, or at least a foe. But then, Yaira's there and she almost has her hand up saying, don't hurt me. Then Yaira's looking down and all of a sudden, grabbing her head. So it's a good question. Is this accept, or is this person to accept? Is their role to be a bad guy, or are they just, someone who's, figuring out themselves and not trying to do harm, and, something's happening to them? Makes you wonder here, especially when she has her hand up here, to what extent she's a dedicated bad guy or girl, I guess I could say. So, all right. Yaira number 1 campaign items. So it says Yaira number 1 covers A, B, C, and D. So I got those. They also have those in the CGC signature series. So that's awesome for those who want to save some money. I mean, I've always thought that was very kind of them to do that, because it's a pain in the butt to have to send it yourself to get those graded and sent back. So they're saving you a bunch of time. So that's pretty awesome that they have that. They have Rippaverse magazine number 1 and the collector's edition. I did get both of those because, it just looks cool. Like I think that was a great idea, because it's like, you can do the old school comic book thing where, sometimes they would put more character detail in a comic book. They might have like little vignettes of something, like they'll have a newspaper clipping like they did in Superman a lot. Or they have some like secret file where it's like, if the government's writing up something on someone in the X-Men, they have this file on them, and it gives you a little insight into the character within a comic book, floppy. But having a magazine to me is actually pretty cool, because then it separates the comic book itself with just telling the story, and then having maybe a little like insights there. It separates that out and makes it where it's like you have this separate thing where you can really develop more information about the series and give special treatment and not disrupt the flow of the comic book itself. It's not disrupting, as you're reading through the comic, you're just focused on the story. There's not like in between notes and things like that. So I can see that being an advantage. And personally, I just think it's cool because it gives you a lot of opportunities to put different artwork in there. Oh, this is funny. Mike here says, I heard this campaign was a failure. Yep. If this is a failure, please, I want to fail this hard. So, oh God. So, with the magazine, I, definitely picked up both of those, and that's pretty cool. And it looks like they also do the signature series for the magazine, so you can get those both graded. So that's kind of cool to have both the comics and the magazine graded. That's real nice. That's some fan service there. There's a Yaira shirt. So they have I guess a new one. They have the Yaira shirt from 2022, a 3D asset shirt, which is really funny. That was the joke that, people were saying that, oh, you use 3D assets at some point in, isom number 1, which I don't even personally care about, 3D assets. I mean, what's the big deal about any of that? It's you use what you need to use in order to achieve an aesthetic. And the question is just, does it look good or not? That's basically it. People use modeling for all kinds of stuff. It's just, workflow and speed of whatever you want to get done. So I thought that was a really fun way to play off that comedy, and the characters they made, I'll show you later, the shirt, are pretty funny, playing off that. So the Yaira poster, they got the Yaira poster 2023. So the one from before. So they're keeping up some of the old products too. So you can get those if you missed out before. Ladies of the Rippaverse poster. That's cool. Oh, and the Dokuman cards deck too. I'm intentionally doing this. I want to pick them up later. So I want to give the campaign a boost toward close, when they're doing their final throws. I want to, get that toward the end to help push things forward. So, oh, hey, what's up, Fug? Good to see you. All right, let's take a look at some of these benchmarks, which, as you're going to see, some of these have already been hit. The 300,000, Yaira yields to no one. We are excited to inform you that our operations are running smoothly, efficiently. Our team is working diligently to fulfill your orders promptly. As your continuous support has allowed us to grow our business, we would like to express our gratitude by offering you an exclusive behind-the-scenes look at our Yaira live action short film. So did that, launched that, and actually the 300,000 is now times 4, right? With 1.2 million. So $450,000 art contest unlocked. Thanks for your support. To celebrate, we're going to host another art contest and highlight the amazing talent of our fans. I'm definitely going to do another review video. I have not been very good at picking the winners, that's for sure. I think I pick the ones who, you know, are definitely talented and probably would win, maybe other conditions not be having to be held, right? Because as before, when you do the art contest, you have to be 18 years old. You have to respond in time. If there was something that was not done right, where you had an element that wasn't supposed to be there, they can't, you know, use it, whatever. There's a few conditions that kicked out some artists from prior things. And so sometimes I picked artists that the art looked good, but there was an issue, you know, behind the scenes. And so they couldn't pick those. So, but they did pick good ones before. They certainly picked good artists. It's just maybe some of the better ones before just couldn't make it for, you know, reasons of the contest rules. So we'll go over that contest later and take a look at the artists. All right, $500,000. Like says, I didn't pick the winners either, but all winners were good. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like they pick good people. It just, you know, it was just tough to pick it right when when people didn't qualify for other reasons. But I guess, you know, maybe there's some things they did that was not right. So, all right. So who's that artist? 500,000. Hit that, of course. It says, we are truly humbled and amazed by the overwhelming support and enthusiasm we have received from our dedicated fans and followers. It is because of your unwavering support and trust in our creative vision that we have been able to achieve this remarkable milestone. We can't express enough how grateful we are for your continued support and believe our mission to deliver an exceptional comic experience. We are eagerly looking forward to sharing more details about these upcoming releases. It's revealed at the proper time. Until then, here is the artist for Gooding, Will Conrad. Woo! So that was unlocked. They now announced that. The Horseman art reveal, 750,000. That's super cool. I really enjoyed that one. I think Horseman is definitely going to be a fan favorite. I did a review of the Horseman art and just noted how the details, you know, really spark curiosity about the character and what they're going to do. I think that the more mature level comic aspect was definitely necessary because it's looking like Horseman's going to be something that's a bit more mature audience, the violence more serious, more bloody, which again, that's cool because a lot of comic fans are a bit older these days, especially in that genre. So having something that you can enjoy that's a little bit more, you know, mature level in terms of language and the action is very satisfying. So I think Horseman's going to be one of those very satisfying comic books. So it says here that we're thrilled to announce that our latest project has reached an incredible pre-order milestone of $750,000. This remarkable accomplishment not only demonstrates the overwhelming support we have received from our community, but also empowers us to create 3 more captivating graphic novels. Incredible, right? 3 more graphic novels. I mean, it's mind-blowing, honestly. To commemorate this special occasion, we are thrilled to unveil yet another stunning cover that we can't wait to share with you for our upcoming Horseman book. So, you know, the fact that they already have not only successfully funded Yaira, but now are confirming that multiple other projects are now underway is just really something else. I mean, it's like, you know, what that snowball effect, once you got a few good things going and then it lets you do a few more good things, and that excites people and it just keeps going and going. Beautiful thing. It's such a beautiful thing. All right. So it says 1 million thicker than blood. So that's where we're at right now. The full details, I think, on that are not listed here. I do know that from what I saw online, Bloodruth had some teased art out showing that uniquely Bloodruth is going to be, in terms of the genre, more horror. So I think we're going to be seeing more art come out from that, more teasers. The quality on the Bloodruth is certainly impressive. I took a look at that, and maybe we'll pop that open a little later, but it's a very strong art design. So I think people are going to be excited about that, and it's more horror. So again, this keeps generating these questions. You know, which direction is Rippaverse going to teeter more toward, just generally? Because we have some comics that, at least so far, could be a little bit more accessible for younger audience, right? Isom certainly was more, you know, not as violent or at least graphic. But then we're starting to see a little bit with Horseman and maybe with Bloodruth there might be some more, older audience content. So I am starting to wonder which is going to be more favored, right? In the end, certainly general audience, of course, keeps it wide, just like if you have a PG or PG-13 movie. But there's also the fan base that wants to see the hardcore action and the more mature, language and seriousness of things. So again, I think they're going to do it all. I think they're going to offer something for everybody, but it's possible that there might be a bias toward one genre. Like it might be the case that they end up saying, okay, well, we're going to have more titles that tend to be toward a more, mid-teen plus or higher teen plus audience, and some that are younger, but I could see that possibly happening, especially with this, type of group. So, but we'll see. We'll see how it all comes together. And Mike said, people seem to be interested in staying black and white. I mean, I could understand that if you want to do a special where, it's a black and white comic. Personally, I prefer colors. I do like to see the richness of the colors and the dynamic of it. And then there's some people who do the in-between where a comic has generally black and white, but some parts are in color, like kind of as an accent. That's a new modern thing that people are doing. So I don't know. If it wasn't black and white, I would give it a try. I would still check it out, of course. But personally, I love rich, beautiful colors that express the artwork in a way that just really captivates you. So Fuss says the horror one that looks great. Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. It's definitely gonna be crazy. I think it's gonna just continue to inspire people to be like, okay, yeah. We want to see some hardcore, action and serious little violence, that kind of thing where you get a little bit of blood here and there. I think people are gonna want to see that next level stuff. It just can't be helped, right? If you're gonna do something where you have superheroes and action, right? Obviously for a kid's audience, you can do the whole pow pow smack thing and you get arrested and you get thrown in whatever. But when the comic book fans tend to be like, yeah, this is your chance to like really do something cool and like, serious and like really get your heart racing, wondering if someone's going to live or die because it's that serious. So, well, I think we'll see that starting to come to fruition here. There is an update section here at the bottom. It says on March 12, 2024, Yaira has done it. The resident femme fatale and first lady of the Rippaverse has crossed the 1 million mark in just under 24 hours. Breaking the record set by isom 1 of 30 hours. So definitely did note that, and that was super cool to watch. Yaira means business, and she just sent Avery's prior record crashing into a car. That's true, just like in the trailer. Thank you so much to everyone who showed us incredible support in just the first day of the pre-order campaign. We're just getting started. So, yeah, this is shaping up nicely. The artwork looks good, and I'm going to pull up some of these perks here on the side. So I can pull this down. So we'll take a look here at the covers. And if I can open this image in a new tab, then I can get this really zoomed in, as you can see here. All right, so we have the different covers here drawn up. Some of them are a little bit covered by each other, but you get the general idea. What's really interesting about this is that uniquely, all of these covers to me are really good in terms of every style is very competently drawn and very attractive. Sometimes the other ones that might be like, okay, this is a little bit too much in this genre, the realism. Even the realism on this Yaira, where she looks, very, kind of painted real life, it actually holds up. It is very solid. Like it doesn't look like too hokey. It doesn't look too weird. Because personally, I'm not like a fan of the realism for comics, but this one is not that off-putting. It's actually pretty good. So I'm impressed. I think that the continuity, whoever's doing this work, they did a really good job of doing that all together. Now, of course, just looking at this art generally here, we do have to consider what's going on with each thing. And I do, of course, have questions. I got to have questions here if I'm looking, because if we look at each of the designs, there are differences in outfits, right? This top Yaira has a different chest piece. You can see here, it's got these, it's kind of like blue with this little ring around. And then this right here, has a little bit more of a different feel right there. This one doesn't have that gold, like almost like a necklace in the blue. It begins lower and certainly it branches out. But it is a little bit different. And the same thing then over here, this Yaira on the realism cover has a little bit of difference there too in the neck and chest. It's got that gold line in between, kind of like the first one up here. It's got a thicker band though, almost like a V band in the realism. So, well, there certainly are, aspects of similarity. I am wondering, for continuity purposes, what is going to be most canon? I do want to know that, because you can't help but wonder, which is the one that's supposed to be the most, or is it that these are different outfits in different settings? Is it? It's possible different characters might have different outfits in different settings, but it's tough to know whether that continuity is intentional or not. And in this one, the realism, I mean, there's this ornate gold design on the forearm piece, which again looks super cool. I mean, the realism one is amazing, right? The gold detail, the highlights are beautiful. For this painted piece, it's absolutely stunning work for this genre. It just makes you wonder, which is going to be most official. This Yaira and this one, we have to look at another image because you can only see a little bit on the side. But yeah, it's super cool. I mean, these are looking very sharp. We just need to figure out what's going on with each one and see. All right, let's pull this up. We'll pull up each cover by their image. Okay. So this one, we have the fuller one. So this has Deborah Carita and Jay Brown on the cover. I think this one is pretty wild, this cover, because it feels very much like 80s comics in terms of the high detail, like late 80s, early 90s. Very intense, competent drawings, great physical proportions. It's very competent for this genre. The question, of course, as always, is just if we look at the belt here, right? We got the gold belt with the blue triangle inside there. Is that going to be the same throughout? Then we have the arms here. We saw the arm design, another one. Is that going to be the same throughout? This one, the composition looks great too, because we have the context of that ice girl like we saw before in those panels. So, it makes you wonder, okay, what's her interaction with ice? Is that a weakness for her? Is it something that she's ready to take on, easily? Because, with different people and powers, you wonder whether or not they have a certain weakness to anything. So, it just looks really cool. She looks just, powerful and menacing to the bad guys that are caught up in the ice. I think it's a fantastic cover. Absolutely. Especially for that genre. All right. So this is one we couldn't see as easily before because it was covered up. So what's interesting about this one is that this has a very classic comic cover feel, right? It has, to me, that quintessential 90s comic look. It has the kind of the bright, I basically say lettering effects and kind of notes about what's in the issue, which didn't begin in the 90s, but the style reminds me very much of peak 90s comic cover, labels and design for the lettering. And they even have the sanctioned by the Rippaverse Code of Ethics, just like the comics code authority. It's a little play on that. I love that they even have here, they have talk bubbles, the speech bubbles, because it gives you a sense of the characters and it gives you a sense of where, the battle is, right? I'm looking forward to putting you on ice. So clearly we know that this is an icy bad guy. The character detail on it is amazing. That's something that's really impressive is this character has a lot of different parts with, I'm assuming, him. Can't tell his junk, but it looks very masculine. It looks like a mix between some type of bug, like almost like a praying mantis leg here, and then something like a humanoid top, but then a bottom body that looks like a thorax. So it's a cool looking character for sure, and it looks very creepy, which is great. You want to have something that builds suspense, that looks kind of freaky, creepy, that gets people like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? So I think that's That's an excellent choice. And if you look behind, you have to really zoom in, but there are these little bugs behind too. So almost looks like rhinoceros beetles. Obviously, I don't think it's rhinoceros beetles, but there's a whole bunch of these little bugs going on, you know, in the background. So whatever this creature is, I'm guessing relates to those insects. Now, with perspective, it's hard to tell. Are these small bugs? Or are these massive bugs, and these bugs are actually just like 50 feet up in the air, but they look small because they're just so far up? That's a great question, right? Hard to tell. Hard to tell. This says the chilling first issue. So I love how they did, you know, this kind of lettering effect here to tie the words to the sense of the character's powers. A chilling first issue. It says the first appearance of Stefania, Yanessa, Yantoni, and Magus Newmite. Newmite. That's such a weird name. I can't even pronounce that. I'm assuming it's either going to be Newmite or Newmite. I don't know. Someone has heard the pronunciation of that word. I haven't heard it yet. But that's quite a mouthful. 2 U's, 2 M's. So we get a few characters being introduced with first appearances. Whenever they say first appearance, it does make me wonder. By first appearance, are they saying that this is the first and last? Or are these characters going to be recurring? We'll have to find out. I love what they did in the top corner here, you know, with the number 1 that looks beautiful, where they have the label going over to the side across the square bound of the comic. That's really great design. So this comic here, just I think aesthetically is very balanced. The reds and blues are beautiful. The intensity of having Yaira on the ground with the character, I mean, this is brilliant. This is the type of stuff that, you know, is top tier comic design in terms of setting up a point of action and making you wonder, you know, what's going to happen, right? This is great. This is a great advertising for this issue. So far, this is probably my favorite, you know, among the ones that I've seen. All right. Let's take a look at this one. So this says foil and embossed. So I guess this cover is going to end up being done in a type of foil that is raised. And we had that before with the Alpha Core issue. So it was very good what they did with the foil emboss. It was super cool. I mean, the design was great. The texture was awesome. So I wonder how this is going to come out. You know, what part is going to be embossed? What is it going to just be the main character aspect, or are they going to do every character? I don't know. This one's interesting. It's a little more simple, but I wonder if they did this more simple because of the embossing and other things like that. They wanted to emphasize the outer color. I don't know. But, you know, great action, you know, showing these other characters. You know, it's not clear who they are. You just see these people that they got some type of armor and there's frosty stuff on them. Honestly, you know, could be taken other ways. But the question of what's going on, you know, is certainly lingering big time here, because we know Yaira's, you know, clearly trying to fight some people, but it's kind of weird with these characters as to whether they're in trouble or attacking, right? That their positions almost make you wonder. Whereas with the other cover, you know, very clear, menacing guy, like going after Yaira. This one really kind of makes you wonder what exactly is going on and what exactly these characters' roles are. But we saw from the interiors, there was some type of armor and some, you know, it was maybe a museum, I don't know, but does that tie to this? Because this armor that I'm seeing here kind of reminds me of what we saw on that campaign in interiors. So it's a good question. A good question. All right. And then there's this realism one. So just trying to pop it up real quick here to the full view. We did already take a look here. But I would say this one, in terms of the realism, they had a realism one on Alpha Core. This one's, to me, even better looking. This is a even better looking realism, and in terms of the proportions, in terms of the overall design and the painting, than the Alpha Core realism cover. So this here says Evans 23. Huh. So that's cool. Yeah, this one's really pretty. So if you're into the realism cover, this is a solid pick for you. There's not as much going on with other characters in this. It's definitely mostly focused on Yaira, showing her energizing up and moving. She looks really intense in her face. I mean, you just see her face like here. Very strong detail lines on the face and jaw. Really, brings her out. Good body proportions. So that's good. I mean, yeah, this is a great set of covers. I'm excited to have all four of them for myself, and also when I get them to show them off and make some comparisons. Take a look up close and see if there's anything that was missed or if it looks better in person. But yeah, I mean, this one right here is hard to beat. This is, to me, this is the best. I think a lot of people probably agree with that from what I've seen online. That this cover is like, oh yeah, that's it. That's the stuff. Right, between the detail of the bad guy and the action and just the color balance and everything, it just and the lettering effects too. It's really fun. It's very nostalgic for me, especially thinking about comics in the '90s. Yeah, this is a fantastic job of doing all those types of Easter eggs along with making just a great art piece. So very impressive work. And I think this right here is really showing, in a strong way where the Rippaverse can be going in the next level, right, of art design. I'm seeing this continuing to up the game for Rippaverse. If they continue to do stuff in this kind of genre, wow, this is going to be next level. I mean, this is top tier stuff. All right, let's take a quick look at a couple of posts here. It says that painted cover would look great as a poster as well. I think the cover A1 is probably the more canon version, probably, but I'm just guessing. Yeah, we're gonna have to find out. We need some authority. We need some Rippaverse authority on which one is the most canon design and why. So I want to hear that. The guy who games less says, I want more voluntarious. Rippaverse is cool too, though. Oh, I definitely appreciate. Well, don't worry. We have more voluntarious coming. We have the current issue. It's being wrapped up now. I actually just got in a final design thing that I needed for the comics we had to do on this past campaign, and the last art piece is being wrapped up now. So once that's done, we've completed everything else. We're gonna print those out, do the fulfillment, and then we got something that's pretty cool coming out. I have been working on something very secret, and I think you're going to really enjoy this next trailer for the next Voluntarius. So, hey, and Mike says I have my Voluntarius order. Oh, okay, awesome. That's great. Fantastic. Yeah. All right. So going back to Rippaverse, let's take a look here at the magazine, because that's kind of unique. That is something that is new, that was not available before. So we have the first Rippazine. And as I was saying before, having a Rippaverse magazine, I think, is brilliant because it lets you do in-depth character stuff and bios, and kind of gives you some, more background to things without having to force that into the storyline, as you're reading it with like these side things, like, again, it's not like it's a bad thing, but many old comics would have those. You read the comic, and then there'd be like some file in there that's like, oh, here's some like CIA agents write up on a character, or here's a newspaper clipping, like a fake newspaper clipping about an event, and it's fun. It's definitely fun, but I like having something that's more robust, right? That it's its own art piece that's independent of the comic. So it says here a Sydney Bloodruth horoscope predictions. So they're having fun with that, right? Creating more character realism, right? Which is great to do, right? If you have characters and you start to bring in things about them that personalize them, humanize them, makes them more robust, right? Gives them, more details to their total personality. That's a lot of fun. It helps you connect with who they are and what they're doing in a way that transcends just having to deal with like following the chronology of the comic. So I think this is brilliant. And it's inspiring. I'm like, man, how could I do something like this? Because it's its own special thing, right? Figuring out the best way to format for a magazine. And that's also a lot of text editing, right? If you're doing a magazine, there's a bit more having to write paragraphs and stuff like that. And That's its own specialty. So it says Gossip and More with Lillian Ronashi. So, having a little fun there, almost like as if this is a tabloid. And then it says introducing Salvage PI, 13-page story by Eric July and Bart Sears. So this Rippaverse magazine, Rippazine, is even including a story, right? So on top of having these kind of character teasers or ways to connect the character with more things about them in a fun way, there's even a story in this. So it's crazy. I mean, you literally have multiple avenues of engagement and growing the universe, beyond just the comic, and it lets you tease things in ways that makes it exciting and keeps people connected to what's going on. So I think that's fantastic. Michael Copper, Gentleman's Tips. So again, more little teasers, tidbits, almost like it's a tabloid that you pick up off the supermarket shelf, right? Plus previews of the first 4 Rippaverse books. So there you go. They even have previews too. So this is a total package thing. It's like a way to really get people to play with the Rippaverse universe and to kind of get a sense of what's going on and see some of the characters and things about them. I think that's really smart, right? And I do wonder what the ultimate function will be. Will this be more so something that's meant to tease it to new people? Or is it going to be something that is more insider? Is it going to be, something that's like, oh, okay, you kind of have a better time reading it if you've read the comics? Or is this truly like, no, you could have never read the comics and you pick this up and all of a sudden you're connecting with the universe? I don't know. I'd be curious to see, where that goes and what they do with it. But I think that it's just a great idea. This is just a fun thing that is easy to accomplish, right? In terms of their production, it's not like making an action figure and having to do box design stuff. Doing a magazine, if you're doing printing, is pretty straightforward with the art team. So to me, this is a very accessible way to grow the universe, unique things, without having to risk too much or get too knowledgeable right off the bat about other technologies. So that's super cool. Hey, good to see you, DCC. Thanks for coming by. All right, so we got that Rippaverse magazine, and then there's a collector's edition. So we'll just take a look at the art. All right, so this one has a very similar, I guess you could say, framing. They certainly are keeping the whole, this could be a tabloid magazine in a grocery store in your checkout. Because it says Lillian's Hot Tea Gossip, previews are first for books, Michael's Gentleman Tips. So a little bit less like People Magazine or OK Magazine, because it's not showing the characters for each thing. It's more just at the top. And then this one is okay. So this is introducing that salvage character, the private investigator, with a really nice full body design. So this is great because this really gives you a sense of the character and his outfit. And wow, look at that. The whole character is got these pinstripes here. He's got what looks like a Beretta for his, for his gun. He's got a cool brimmed hat. He's got this belt that's got this golden buckle. Looks like some type of a holster for his Beretta looking gun. Jacket, some type of clasp for the jacket. He's got some black shoes. And it looks like he's coming down what might be a stairwell or something, just based on the shadows here and the railing. So, okay. So this is just a collector's edition. So this is really because you want that cool art. This, this introduction of this character, Salvage PI, and what, his part is. So I like that they're doing this PI aspect, because they have the Alpha Corps, which is more so the official police of XSEPs, and then they have the private side of things, just like Goody Egg, right? The Goody, he's a private guy, so we got another private guy who's a private eye. So that's really great to have that as well. I think that's gonna be a lot of fun, and I wonder if his private investigation is going to be a part of unveiling the mystery behind XSEPs. That's my wonder. Is his purpose in the story to be a part of uncovering the mysteries and giving a character who drives that question and that investigation about who are XSEPs, who's doing what, and who's responsible for what. I could see that being the case. I could see that being the case that his purpose in the universe is to kind of help foster those questions, those investigations. I do like the color scheme. I love his design. I think this is going to be fun. So I picked that up. Obviously, it's going to probably be the same interior, right? If it's just a collector's edition, it's just a different cover. Maybe, I don't know. Let's see. But I'm very excited to read that. Let's see here. It says, introducing the inaugural Rippaverse exclusive magazine product, a limited edition collector's item featuring a stunning metallic finish. So once these coveted copies are sold out, they'll never be reprinted, ensuring their unparalleled exclusivity for collectors. Okay, so it just has a metallic finish with that different cover. It doesn't say, at least outright, that the interior content's different. So if it is, it's just not mentioned there, but it's just about the cover and having a metallic shine. So that's awesome. That's going to look great. Fantastic. All right, I'm going to really quick take a look at a couple more of the unique items on this campaign. I got to wrap this up just a little bit before I have to get to another appointment. But I did want to take a look specifically at the unique artwork, because obviously, you know, here I'm all about the art, right? It's all about the beauty of the art and then the story. So we have Yaira in this shirt design. I think this is really cool. It's got this golden Y for Yaira, and she's coming out with her energy. Great choice. I think it's super fun to have on you know, with the logo lettering design plus her coming out, and that's a very strong and fun framing for her. So that's a cool one. Then we have the 3D assets. Okay, this is funny. So here's a 3D asset shirt, and they made it like as if they're Minecraft characters. That's so funny. So isom and Yaira is, you know, is 3D assets. It's a good joke. Very, very inside baseball, but funny. Definitely a great way to play off of that. So if you see someone in real life wearing that, you're like, okay, you're real deep in the Rippaverse world if you know what that is. Oh, here we go. All right, Yaira poster. All right. Oh, so we definitely have it again. Continuing questions of what is canon and what is not canon. I have many questions, but this is a great poster. She looks awesome. It has almost like a pseudo New York City skyline. This almost feels like the Empire State Building over there. If it is, I don't know, but I love the hair in the wind. I love the body pose. I think it's fantastic. We have some chest design issues where, again, I'm not sure which one is the official, but we do have the gold in between on the neck and these gems on the side of the boobage. You got the blue triangle, so that's, you know, existent there. And then I still wonder, because we saw in the realistic or the realism version, there was this crazy and artful design on her, you know, on her forearm glove thing or her band. So I'm wondering, is that normally a part of that? Is that something that happens in a certain stage? I really want to know. So, but yeah, great stuff. Great designs, continue to kick butt and keep getting better and better with each art set. It's really something else. All right, so this is the ladies poster. Right, we got Ingrid Valdez, Lena Renashi, Blood Ruth, Yaira, Altona. I think this is really strong because what I like about this is that you have everybody in a cool pose and view. It's artistic where people are zoomed in or out, right? It's not meant to be like everyone's literally with each other. So you can really do some great poses. They have everybody doing energy stuff with the wisps, the green wisps, and Lena Renashi's, you know, a little bit of pinkish, purplish energy. And you have Yaira even energizing up. So I think this is a great poster to promo all these characters. Fantastic. And I do wonder, is that in her hand? Is that a cell phone? Or is that a pen? I don't know. Yeah, she doesn't have any powers. Although doesn't have any powers, but everybody else has powers. So it just looks super cool. Having the ladies together, I think that was a brilliant design move there to have them all together. It looks great. So, yeah, I mean, I think that the characters too, especially when you see them all together, you realize how unique these characters are together, right? You have definitely different looks, different power sets, different feels to them. So we're getting a nice set of characters who you can connect with or like for different attributes, right? They're not just all the same. You know, it's not like Green Lantern Corps and all the Green Lanterns are the same. So Chloe says, Yaira's looking hype for real. I know, right? Oh, and Super Galactic says 3 has the shirt. That's hilarious. It was hilarious. Oh, DC says we need a voluntary scene now, mate. Yeah, I know. I really know. But for right now, I can tell you what I do have coming out for Voluntarist is amazing, and you're gonna really like it. You're gonna love how we're taking things to the next level coming up. So just stay tuned. All right. So last but not least of these unique perk items, because other stuff's more just bundles. These are the Dokuman cards deck 2. We see Shadran. Obviously, I don't see the rest of the characters because I think they're going to make that a treat, a surprise as to what you get. So I'll pick these up later. I just got in my comics in the Ripazine thing, but I want to pick that up toward the end of the campaign to help with the big boost at the end. But I really liked getting the first set of cards, which I have. It's just, when it comes to these things, it's a big endeavor to open them all up and then put them somewhere because they're very big, right? These are not like little playing cards. These are actually lenticular prints, that kind of change look as you move them, and they're sizable. So if you're gonna display them, you got to have a place to display them. Otherwise, you keep them in their box. But these are not little playing cards here. These are big cards. So serious stuff. Great artwork though. So I'm very excited to take a look at them and see what other characters come in. And I'll read down below here what they say about it, because maybe they'll help us out. It says, introducing Dokuman collector cards, a must-have for any collector and fan of the Rippaverse universe. These exclusive collector cards showcase never-before-seen details of characters from Rippaverse, offering a tantalizing glimpse into the expansive and exciting world of the Rippaverse. Each Dokuman collector card features intricate artwork, capturing the essence and unique traits of these unrevealed characters. Ooh, okay, so confirming unrevealed. Immerse yourself in the mystery as you explore the vibrant illustrations, uncovering the hidden stories and untold adventures of these captivating individuals. Also, what I think is smart about this by doing the card thing is, and this is also what I did too with Voluntarist earlier on, is that when you put your characters out early before you have the stories out fully, then at least you have it out there to show, hey, I came up with this kind of first, right? So I did that too with all my Voluntarist characters. Like, all right, I got to get them out there so people know I had them first, like in terms of coming up with these ideas. So this is a really great way to get the characters out in the public without having to go and be like, okay, I produced the books for all these people. Because then you at least show, hey, I came up with this first, in case somebody else comes up with something similar after, then you can show, okay, yeah, I came up with this character first. All right. So it says, as a collector, you'll appreciate the high quality materials and attention to detail that go into each card. The durable construction ensures that these collector cards will stand the test of time, preserving the allure and value of these rare and exclusive items. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting your journey to the Rippaverse, Dokuman collector cards offer an exciting opportunity to expand your collection and deepen your connection to this extraordinary universe. Don't miss out on the chance to own a piece of Rippaverse history and discover the secrets that lie within these captivating cards. Order your Dokuman collector cards today and embark on a thrilling adventure into the unknown, where new characters await to be unveiled and cherished by fans of the Rippaverse. So I will definitely be getting these, of course, toward the end, and then I'm going to do overview of the characters, once people get their perks, and then, I don't want to spoil anything for anybody, but whatever. Once they're roughly fulfilled, I'll go through the cards for those who, for whatever reason, couldn't get them or missed out, because obviously it's cool to see them and see them up close with detail, and I enjoy doing that. Maybe even Pho will join me with that later. We'll see if she'll go through the Dokuman cards. Could be fun. All right. So the rest of the stuff in the campaign, is old stuff. They have the $5. Oh wow, $5? What the heck? They have the Yaira shirt for $5. Okay, that's cheap. You got to get the Yaira shirt for $5. They're practically giving away for free. That's crazy. And they have a whole huge. They have extra small to 4XL. You better pick that up. I have one of these, but now I might need to get a second one. $5. That's crazy. They're just giving away product at that point. That's a great deal. You definitely got to pick that up, right? I mean, for $5, heck yeah. And that's Igor's art there too, so that's awesome. And I want to have it all. So if you want to drop a band, you can definitely get all of it for $9.99. The low price of $9.99. If you want it all. That's some serious dough. But for the serious fan, it is worth it always. So it's got everything we pretty much just covered, including the signature versions of the 4 covers. But this is fantastic. I mean, just really incredible stuff by the Rippaverse. Eric July's killing it out here I'll even refresh here real quick to see what's going up. There's 8,799 purchasers. Personally, I see Rippaverse as having at least 10,000 regular fans. I would expect that number to hit at least 10,000 by the time this campaign closes. I was already predicting this campaign would have a minimum of 1.3 million, just based on the fact that you have one of the most desired characters so far. There's a lot of hype about Yaira, and with Soska's, they have their own fans who are coming in just because they want to get the Soska's work. So I'm like, there's no way that this, this is obviously going to be $1 million campaign. 1.3, I thought, at a bare minimum, that's insanely low. And since everything's going so smooth and there's a lot more crossover promotion and things like that, there's more time to do promo. I would expect that this campaign's going to, close very nicely as well. And certainly I'm going to help with that, when it closes in a couple of months. Because I think, if I'm not mistaken, this was a 75-day campaign, right? Correct me if I was wrong. I'm pretty sure it's 75 days. Yeah, expected fulfillment start date 5/26/24. March, April, May. It's March, April, May. Yeah, definitely. Okay. So yeah, this is fantastic. This is just really good. Just continue to up the quality of everything. Continue to improve the product offerings. I'm just super thrilled. I'm extraordinarily thrilled to see Rippaverse succeed and to see what else they come up with. Especially the live action trailer, that was wild. Certainly, I would love to see what they can do, or they could, take that to. I would almost say, like, in some ways, they don't even need to spend as much money for a big budget thing if they even just do like little teaser things, right? With just little sequences and a little bit of CGI with energy. Because me and my wife have done that for doing teasers and stuff like that. Just doing little teasers with simple walks in a Zentai suit or something simple, and you do a little bit of good CGI for it, decent CGI. Even if they did just stuff like that, where they don't even have to have a huge camera crew, that would be pretty cool. Just showing a little character, someone cosplaying, and then they energize up, and boom, that's like a little teaser for the comic. So I just want to see what they do. I'm really excited to see how many different ways they tease the universe, because we've seen animation, now we've seen a version of live action. It'd be crazy to see what they could take it to the next level with. I mean, it's very tantalizing to see where they apply their resources and what they decide to do, which angle they decide to do next. Man, it's really get you wondering what's possible. So, oh, here we go. Look at this. Just ordered the OG Yaira shirt, $4.50. Remember? Yeah, exactly. It's like, how could you have like $5? That's crazy. Like, it's a great art by Igor to share it. So it's like, how could you not just throw that in there? If you're going to get a comic, get that shirt too. Oh, yes. So Chloe says, speaking of the live action trailers, I wonder if the Bloodruth horror book will have a live action trailer. That's what I'm saying. It's something like that, right? That wouldn't take, horror can be done right, without a big budget, potentially, if you know how to, stage and shoot right and use some practical effects. Done a few things like that myself. What can I say? But it's definitely doable. And I think that maybe they consider what they can do. Again, maybe not go for length, right? Because you can, because it was a long trailer too. I mean, I was surprised. I was like, wait, what? This is like 4 minutes? Like, you're crazy? I'm like, a 4-minute trailer? How'd you do that? Live action. They clearly spent money to do that, to set all that up. That was a lot of work. But you don't have to do, 4 minutes. You can just do 1 minute really well. You know what I mean? I would like to see that. I would like to see them try to maybe, shorten it to like a 60-second or 1 minute, 30-second most trailer. But what they do, they like really take it the top notch, intentionally try to like, stage it high level, really get the camera angles, very cinematic, with the color grading, sound, lighting, all of the good stuff. I would like to see if they could take that to that next level. I think that they have the resources to do so. I just think that it's a matter of laser focus, right? Just saying, okay, instead of length, let's go for a higher quality within a shorter window, but make it like a movie trailer, right? You go to the theaters and you watch your 1 minute movie trailer, boom, 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 epic blockbuster sound, make that really hard hitting and close, like a movie trailer. I think that would be great. And I think if Bloodruth, of course, horror, I could see that very easily done with suspenseful music, right? Bloodruth, horror, a lot of what is horror is just anticipation of the unknown and playing with the instruments and the sounds that lead you to feel scared, right? You know, the heartbeats and the you know, kind of like violin sounds and like creepy sounds going in the background. So it's possible they can do something with that. I can definitely see that. So, but yeah, I think that if everybody just keeps on promoting this campaign and keeps on going in hard on this, I don't see how this couldn't, you know, be one of the best campaigns they've had, especially since I mean, I just refreshed and it's already, I mean, look at this. I just refreshed and it's already at 1.247 with 8, you know, it's crossed the 8,800 purchasers mark. You know, I just see it continue to succeed and do well and closing very high. I mean, 1.3 million, like I said, was the absolute floor for this for sure. So I really want to see, yeah, I just really want to see what they do if they go laser focus. Like if they, and again, it could be live action or animation, but just being like, okay, instead of length, we get it, you know, theatrical trailer, animation or live action, put the best resources you can into 1 minute and make that like, whoa, like you know, you're like, oh my gosh, I got to go right now. Boom. You know, when that closes and the curtain closes kind of thing. So, oh man. They said, isn't that why you get the Soska sisters? Yeah, the Soska sisters, of course, they have a big history in doing horror movies. You know, the horror movies they do tend to be more in the popular, you know, B horror movie genre. You know, just being realistic about what that level is. But nonetheless, again, it's everything can always be upgraded with choice, right? You can say, okay, we're going to intentionally take our knowledge of the horror genre and we're going to say, okay, let's apply the next level of equipment and the next level of, you know, camera angles and color grading, editing, and take it to, okay, I want to take this to the A level, right? You can do that, especially with, you know, the resources that they'll have now to potentially do that. I don't see how that's out of reach. I don't see how that's out of reach at all. So, but hey, I would happily, you know, sit there and do a review, like be a you know, producer check to be like line item. Okay, did this angle work, or do you need to switch this angle or whatever? Give you, I would be all about that. So I'd be happy, like, all right, get this camera angle this side. Okay, you need to have this actor be here. Oh man, that would be a lot of fun. That would be a lot of fun. So. All right. Well, I appreciate everybody for, you know, hanging out here and, you know, just checking out the Rippaverse. I do, again, want to, one more time, just while I have you here, I do want to just remind you that our End the Fed music video production is coming up. Well, it's coming. What am I saying? It's live. It's not coming up. I just feel like I went to the past. Our music video is live on Indiegogo. So our End the Fed music video is something we're trying to produce. We've produced many music videos. It's super cool, and you can even see, you know, some behind the scenes shots from past music videos and a little bit of the teaser imagery. You could listen to this full song as well. And you can even check out some of our past music videos, which they are pretty cool. What we do on a strict budget is pretty impressive, I will say. I am very proud of the work we do. When you hear the budgets we work with and the outcomes we get with that, it's really blows your mind. But you know, this is a fun way for us to help educate people on what the Fed's are doing to our money. And you know, you can join in with everything from a physical perk or not a physical perk. You could have a credit in the film. You can get a T-shirt signed. You could be an executive producer and be, you know, a part of the opening sequence, or at the end, you know, an executive producer there. Lots of cool things to do with it. We just love engaging the culture with all types of fun stuff. And on top of that, I will say we did also just record another song that is going to blow your mind. So get ready for that. We have a new song. It's in the EDM genre. It's going to make you smile. So in the meantime, check out End the Fed. We're going to shoot that in Washington, D.C. coming up. So we appreciate your support. And, you know, next time I'm going to update you, whenever we're completed with that, and also whatever else we have got going on or coming up with our other projects. Because we did, I mean, it's my mind just going because we got so many projects. We did the Unschooled Adventures of Jack and Fuck Kids book that we just wrapped on. That was a ton of fun. Obviously, Voluntarious, I'm in production on finalizing that campaign, which again, thank you, Eric July, for your support of that one. That was a big deal, and you know, made my whole year. And we're wrapping that up and then getting ready for the next Suit Saga 2, the next follow-up issue to that. So, all right, man, it's a great time to be an independent creator. So I'm just so thrilled. Take care, everybody, and I'll talk to you later.